This is BRICS Global Television Network's Daily Roundup. We begin with the headlines. Iran observes 5 days of mourning following the death of President Ibrahim Raisi. Russian oil refinery operations suspended. Shanghai shoppers in for a treat. And the Chinese swimmer doping scandal just won't go away. Hello, I'm Juliet Newell. We begin in Iran, as many Iranians mourn the death of President Ibrahim Raisi, who died in a helicopter crash on Sunday. Many others remember his tenure in a not-so-good light. Raisi, the foreign minister, Hossein Amir Dullahian, and 7 others, including the pilot, died when the helicopter they were traveling in crashed in a mountainous area. They were on their way to Tabriz following the inauguration of a dam in Azerbaijan when the aircraft went down in bad weather conditions. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei announced a 5-day public mourning period on Monday. Activists remember protests that swept the country following the death of 22-year-old Kurdish woman Mahsa Amini. She was arrested under Iran's harsh hijab laws and later died in prison. During protests, 500 people died and more than 19,000 were imprisoned. 60 of those were children, who died in police custody after being arrested by police under Iran's harsh laws. More than 19,000 protesters were jailed and at least 500 killed, including 60 children during the Women Life Freedom protests. These celebrating the death of Raisi have been warned by police they'll get arrested and prosecuted. And social media has been abuzz with videos showing people setting off fireworks, dancing to music, while others drive past, hooting in solidarity. The country's first vice president, Mohamed Mokhber, has been appointed acting president. He'll remain in that position for 50 days before elections take place. To South Africa. Following the request by the International Criminal Court prosecutor Karim Khan for the ICC to issue arrest warrants against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and 3 Hamas chiefs, South Africa has weighed in, saying it welcomes the request.
The outrageous decision by the ICC prosecutor Karim Khan to seek arrest warrants against the democratically elected leaders of Israel is a moral outrage of historic proportions. It will cast an everlasting mark of shame on the International Court. Mr. Khan creates a twisted and false moral equivalence between the leaders of Israel and the henchmen of Hamas. This is like creating a moral equivalence after September 11th between President Bush and Osama bin Laden, or during World War II between FDR and Hitler. He is callously pouring gasoline on the fires of anti-Semitism that are raging across the world. Through this incendiary decision, Mr. Khan takes his place among the great anti-Semites in modern times.
South Africa lodged a complaint at the International Court of Justice, the ICJ, complaining that Israel's campaign in the Palestinian territory of Gaza amounts to genocide earlier this year.
Because we do believe that our own intention here has really been to bring to the fore key concerns around international crimes, in particularly the crimes of crimes, which is genocide in this case. And we are very serious about that from a human rights perspective, and not essentially here as alleged by Israel that we are here to defend or protect Hamas from destruction.
The collective punishment of Palestinian civilians through the unlawful use of force by Israel is a war crime. The deliberate denial of medicine, fuel, food, and water to the residents of Gaza is tantamount to genocide. As South Africa, we call for, first, an immediate and comprehensive ceasefire. Second, the opening of humanitarian corridors so that aid and other basic services such as food and medicines can reach those in need. As individual countries, we have demonstrated our concern at the death and destruction that's taking place right now in Gaza. Let this meeting stand as a clarion call for us to combine our efforts and to strengthen our actions to bring this historical injustice to an end.
South African President Cyril Ramaphosa says he supports the latest prosecution request to issue new arrest warrants. He said South Africa is committed to the international rule of law, universal respect for human rights, and the settlement of all international disputes by negotiation and not war, and the self-determination of all people, including the Palestinians. But Ramaphosa's government appears to have flouted international law when it came to Russian President Vladimir Putin last year. Ahead of the BRICS summit that was held in Johannesburg, the country asked to be exempt from carrying out an ICC warrant against him, should he attend the event. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and Jake Sullivan, Biden's national security advisor, have held talks on semi-final version of a deal expected to beef up security ties. The meeting between the two took place in the eastern Saudi city of Dhahran over the weekend. The Biden administration has actively pursued a so-called mega deal in which Washington agreed to provide benefits to Saudi Arabia, including a defense pact and assistance with a civilian nuclear program. That's in exchange for Saudi Arabia's first ever recognition of Israel. According to the Saudi press agency, the two discussed what's being worked on between the two sides on the Palestinian issue to find a credible path towards a two-state solution. Salman and Sullivan also talked about how to facilitate the distribution of humanitarian aid in Gaza. In September last year, Prince Mohammed told Fox News, "Every day we get closer to a deal to normalize ties." A month later, Hamas launched a surprise attack on Israel, killing more than 1,000 people. Israel's retaliatory offensive against Hamas, which is ongoing, has claimed more than 35,000 lives in Gaza, according to data provided by the Hamas-run territory's health ministry. Though Saudi talks with the US continue, it's unclear whether they'll reach an agreement as they clash over Israel. The kingdom says that if steps towards recognizing a Palestinian state are not taken, it's impossible to normalize a relationship with Israel. In Russia, an oil refinery in the southern Krasnodar region suspended operations after it was allegedly hit during a Ukrainian drone attack. The Slavyansk-on-Kuban refinery, the biggest in southern Russia, was struck by 6 drones over the weekend. Operations have been halted until a full assessment of the damage can be carried out. According to a Ukrainian defense official, the refinery and the Kuzhyovsky military airfield were targeted in the attack. Ukraine has stepped up its attacks on Russia in recent weeks as the war between the two countries continues following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Russia's Air Defense Ministry, meanwhile, claims to have intercepted 57 Ukrainian drones on Saturday night, 9 of which were shot down over Crimea. Coming up, BRICS business news.
Hi, I'm Ava. I think you should watch BGTN TV because it's the best.
On 3. Let's go. Right hand on 3 for Super.
Gangster Museum and Township Tours takes us on a transformative journey alongside reformed gangsters, showcasing the remarkable evolution from purveyors of drugs and violence to architects of captivating tourist attraction.
We're primarily focused on alleviating gangsterism, so we take people around the townships.
In BRICS business news, in China, the Commerce Ministries launched an investigation into imports of engineering chemical from the European Union, the United States, Taiwan and Japan. The investigation could take up to a year and a half to conclude. The chemical called polyoxymethylene copolymer is a thermoplastic. The EU has carried out similar investigations on China's practices, including last month's probe into the country's medical devices and what it deems as unfair procurement procedures. Last week, the United States hiked tariffs on Chinese imports, including batteries, electric vehicles and semiconductors. China and Russia have been enjoying increased trade relations since Russia invaded Ukraine 2 years ago. The business transactions, though, are now under scrutiny, with some Chinese banks fearful of secondary sanctions, taking weeks to conclude banking transactions between the two countries. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping held meetings last week in China, solidifying their relationship and enhancing trade relations. Staying in China, Shanghai has set its sights on becoming an international shopping and trade hub as it introduces a bold new campaign aimed at attracting foreign consumers. The initiative seeks to elevate the city's status as a global center for commerce, innovation and cultural exchange by offering unparalleled convenience, unique experiences and cutting-edge trends. China has emerged as a formidable global economic powerhouse, making bold moves and implementing strategic initiatives that have reshaped the global economic landscape. From ambitious infrastructure projects to pioneering technological advancements, China's rise as an economic superpower is characterized by its proactive approach to economic development and its relentless pursuit of innovation and growth. The bustling city of Shanghai has long been synonymous with dynamism, progress and innovation. As China's financial capital and a key driver of the country's economic growth, Shanghai has continuously evolved to meet the demands of an increasingly interconnected world. Now, with the launch of this ambitious campaign, Shanghai aims to solidify its position as a premier destination. At the heart of the 5th Shanghai Double 5 initiative is a strategic focus on boosting consumer spending, both domestically and internationally. And Saudi Arabia's fashion industry has received a boost following an exclusive fashion show. Couture collections have been paraded down an overwater boardwalk connecting beachfront villas as part of the kingdom's first Red Sea Fashion Week. Touted as a milestone for Saudi fashion in the tourism sector, reliant on diversifying the economy in the oil-rich Gulf region, the fashion show focused on pushing the envelope in the conservative Muslim country. One of the designers, Tima Abid, whose creations were on show, says, "The borders and restrictions that used to exist have been abolished, and this has given us an opportunity to show our creativity in a more beautiful way." Abid's collection featured resort wear dresses in flowing white and beige fabrics, with some even showing a visible midriff. Designers, fashion journalists and Saudi celebrities like Lojain Umran, best known abroad for her turn on the money-drenched Netflix show Dubai Bling, attended the event. Umran said, "If you want to reach a global audience in fashion, you have to reach all types of people, the conservatives and those who are the opposite." In just a few moments, Yolanda Ponda will bring you BRICS sports updates.
Coming soon on BRICS Global Television.
Now, can your program be copied overseas, or is it exclusively designed for South Africa society?
So it can definitely be replicated. We've replicated it in businesses even, and we've used it in after-school programs that are not in school specifically. So we've already seen that it works in different contexts, and we'd love to take it overseas because obviously a few tweaks here and there, if needed, can be made. But the point is the basic model is something that anyone can use.
For many, dance in Africa is a rich cultural expression, serving various purposes like entertainment and religious rituals. However, over thousands of years, dance in Africa has been used as a secret way to communicate. sometimes during birth and death, frequently to each other, and at times directly to the gods.
Coming soon on BRICS Global Television.
This blind kid arrives. I get emotional. And he's special needs and he's blind. And they can't talk to him. So I grab him and I put him on the boxing bag and I put the gloves on and I illustrate to him, hit the bag. And just to see this child learn in 1 minute how to let his aggression go, and he loved it. And he was squealing because obviously he was mentally challenged and things like that. Just to see that, sure, it was incredible.
Hello, I'm Yolanda Pondo with your BRICS Sports News. The World Anti-Doping Agency has referred the Chinese swimmer doping case to independent prosecutor Eric Cottier for review. It's hoped a report will be issued by the end of June. On Friday, WADA held a virtual meeting to discuss the matter ahead of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. WADA's President Dick Pound criticized the United States Anti-Doping Agency of spreading lies about Chinese swimmers' doping case. Despite WADA's conclusion of contamination, USADA revived the issue, prompting Pound to accuse them of tarnishing WADA's reputation. WADA detailed their investigation during the meeting, emphasizing no cover-up. Pound lamented USADA's lack of cooperation and urged collaboration. Observers noted the absence of WADA supervision in U.S. sports, contrasting the U.S.'s eagerness to scrutinize doping abroad. WADA rebuked the U.S. for baseless accusations against China, particularly regarding doping cover-ups. Commentators suggested U.S. discomfort with Chinese swimmers' success led to smear tactics aiming to distort public opinion and disrupt athletes' morale. Analysts drew parallels with the U.S. political agendas driving misinformation. Despite WADA's efforts to clarify, Western media revived the case in April. The China Anti-Doping Agency, CHINADA, condemned USADA's actions, accusing them of unethical conduct and violation of athletes' rights, reserving the right for legal action. That's it for now on our BRICS stories. Don't forget to check out our social media and websites for more updates.
Well, here we have it. Time to turn things around. You caught the taxi and watched the money drain out of your account. Now we're going to pay you if you are lucky enough to catch our taxi. Small problem. You've got to know a few things about BRICS. No, not the stuff you build your house with. Welcome to the BRICS on Wheels show.
Coming soon on BRICS Global Television.
I went into a tackle and he was this very big guy. He was a world wrestling champion. And I went in thinking that I'd be able to use my force to knock him over. And his shoulder connected my head, and that's when I broke my neck. So I lay on the field. We lay for about an hour. The ambulance couldn't get onto the field because it was a semi-professional game.
Every white cross represents a farmer who has been murdered. Some call these the forgotten farm murders.
And And a movie about Russian President Vladimir Putin's making waves at the Cannes Film Festival in France. The film covers Putin's life over 6 decades, starting at the age of 10, when he's seen being beaten by his stepfather. It's not just the storyline, it's that the main character, Putin, is AI generated. In the film and television industry, actors around the world are growing ever fearful of the potential that artificial intelligence has to cut their careers short. In the case of world leaders like the Russian president, getting the real man to play himself in a movie is unlikely. Some would say impossible. So why not use an actor? Polish director Patryk Wega says, to come extremely close to the dictator, we needed Putin, not an actor with makeup. The film uses a deep fake of the ruler's face transplanted onto the body of a real actor. The movie, simply called Putin, is a hit. More than 50 countries have bought the film ahead of its premiere in September. And BGTN has recently launched the 22 Seconds Anti-Trafficking campaign. It aims to shed light on the alarming reality that one person is trafficked every 22 seconds somewhere in the world. Running until June the 3rd, this initiative seeks to raise awareness and inspire action to combat human trafficking.
22 Seconds came about. I've been working on human trafficking stories recently. I've been doing documentaries. It was just like, are we doing enough? It was a campaign that was, let's challenge ourselves, let's get it out there, let's try and reach as much people as possible.
130 people are trafficked all around the world per hour. So every 22 seconds, someone is being trafficked. 22 seconds could be your walk from a school gate inside the school. It could be your walk from your house to the bus station. It's just a short distance.
This campaign is a campaign that is set to raise awareness, to show the severity of this crime that's happening around us. I'm hoping that it will get society to speak about it. It will get communities, governments and organizations to come together and tackle this. I'm hoping that it will get the young girl, the young boy to understand the dangers that we live around.
And we're speaking to schools so that children are also aware of this. Teachers are aware, because also teachers play a vital role into seeing kids that they teach that this child was not like this. The campaign is running for a month, but that's not where our work will end. We will continue campaigning and we will continue moving towards our goal of getting 22 million signatures.
You can share the campaign firstly on social media using the hashtags 22 seconds not for sale, hashtag 22 seconds empower change, because we are empowering change. Please sign the petition. The whole idea also behind the petition is that once we reach 22 million signatures, we will take it to the UN.
It is up to us to raise awareness and show human trafficking that it has no place in our society.
To sign the petition, please go to our website. We'll be back tomorrow with the latest BRICS news. Until then, you can visit our website and social media for updates.